Hey, everybody, this is Ryan from Athletic Conceptual Training. We have a really awesome interview prepared for you. I'm here with my co host and Hall of Famer from Merritt College, Audrey Jones. In addition, we have a part two for the great OAL coach, Ronnie Turner. Thank you for joining in with us again, and we are looking forward to the wealth of knowledge that you bring to us and to all the people of the world. We got an overwhelming response, and people want to know more from your stories. So thank you for taking the time.
Well, thank you, Ryan and uh, Audrey. Audrey, just the OAL is a league in Oakland with 6 schools, and the amount of athletes who have come through the OAL, the Oakland Athletic League, who have done great things both as citizens in our great nation, and also the fact that they've competed in different levels, from high school to college to professional athletes and Olympic athletes. And so with the 6 schools, you can almost point through each school and see where a great athlete has come through through the halls of those schools. And McClymonds has a great history. Both Oakland High, which I went to high school, and Oakland Technical High School also have great traditions. And then you look at Castlemont and you look at Fremont, and Skyline was a Johnny come lately, but
Yes.
after the fact, as they came through the 80s, the 70s and the 80s, late 60s. But they're a rival of my school, Oakland High. And so we competed quite a bit on all aspects, from football to swimming to baseball to golf to tennis. And then you add in the major sports, basketball, football, baseball, and those things. And so it was always a competition there. And that kind of got me into, always was an athlete, grew up an athlete, junior high school, but also elementary school, where we were very competitive. I grew up in East Oakland, so my competition there, I went to Havens Court Junior High School, which I don't know what it's called now, but you have Frick, you have Madison down in Sobrante Park, you had Elmhurst. All those schools are very competitive, and it was a feeder school for a lot of, for Castlemont, Fremont. I was an outlier and ended up going to Oakland High, but very competitive. So, and I grew up in a neighborhood that was pretty much all boys, and a few girls were there, that everybody was trying to get the attention of the few girls who were there. So it even made it more competitive, but always very competitive. And I'm still a competitor, even in the profession I'm in now. I like to win, I don't like to lose. And was fortunate to play on 3 high school championship teams, 2 in college in football, and played on a 1-loss junior varsity basketball team, competed in track and field, of course, football, and played a little baseball. I played baseball pretty much from the time I can remember, 10 years old, through, the Babe Ruth leagues and pony leagues, and then played 1 year of high school baseball. But nobody came out to watch baseball when I was in high school. So it was difficult to stay with it. And so once I started playing football, it changed everything. And so once I left the area to play ball, I ran track to stay in shape for football. And I got smitten by the sport when I was in junior high school. The old junior high school meet that Oakland put on from the recreation department was very competitive, and so you got a chance to see a lot of raw athletes from all the junior high schools in Oakland. And so that kind of got me with the bug of thinking, well, I've done this long enough, I've competed, and I got the opportunity to coach football at Oakland Tech first. And so started out as a defensive coordinator. I had played defense in college. High school, I was on both sides. But having the experience of running track in college gave me the bug about coaching track and field, because of the camaraderie, the individualized aspect of it, but also the fact that it was also team. And so everybody gets a chance to participate in track and field. You know, you can take someone that may not know anything about the sport, but can come in, find their niche, and do well. And some people, you know, get involved in track and field, and all of a sudden they become a superstar. You know, there's so many stories like that. Alex and Felix, who was a basketball player initially, and ended up becoming one of the top sprinters, that's recognized as one of the top women sprinters in the United States and the world. You know, so track and field has that kind of, you know, you can get that kind of momentum, and you can see where you can do well, but when you do it off of just natural abilities, it gets up to a point, and if you're not willing to work, then you won't go beyond that point. And so the one thing that I liked about Noah, coming into high school over at Oakland Tech, when I was coaching football and track over, but I was a head track coach for both the boys and the girls. And he came to me and just asked me, said, "Coach, can I get a scholarship running?" I said, "You absolutely can, but you got to be willing to work. You got to do everything I tell you to do." And so he was just that sponge, you know. And when you have athletes like that, you really enjoy that opportunity. But during that time, I was able to bring track and field back to the Bay Area with the Junior Olympics. We ran that for about 10 years. We brought in the Hershey meet, and we also brought in the Jesse Owens meet. And we got a chance to meet Jesse Owens in 1978. And the story there, you know, he comes in from Ohio, and, you know, now it's 10 o'clock in the morning. He's doing a interview. The interview must have been at 9. 10 o'clock is done. We're over in San Francisco. He says, "Let's go get a cocktail." You know, at 10 o'clock in the morning, I said, "Jesse, look, I can't do that, man. I can't do the cocktail thing at 10 o'clock in the morning. I still got to work for the rest of the day." "Oh, man, we're going to go out and have some fun." So all this, that whole Jesse Owens program was put on by ARCO, a great sponsor. We would then take athletes from all over the country, and they would have the national meet down at UCLA. And so they would put the kids up in the dorms at UCLA, and then the outing event for that weekend was going to Disneyland. So that was always a fun thing for the athletes, and a lot of Olympians actually came out of that program here from the Bay Area, Northern California. That you know, students ended up going to places like USC and UCLA from Northern California, Stanford, Cal Berkeley. So, you know, a lot of those athletes got a chance to participate at 8, 9, 10 years old, and being able to continue to build up their chops and got scholarships to run and so on and so forth. You know, one that I can recall, Leslie Maxey, who's an outstanding athlete, ended up going to USC, along with another young lady who went to Ravenswood High School over there. Her last name was Brown. I'm forgetting her first name. It's old age. I put that there. But both of them became Olympians, and they came through that program out of Northern California. So, you know, we got a chance to coach all those young athletes. My best friend, Jerry Coleman, who coached the girls at Skyline High School, we did that together for the Oakland Parks and Rec program that had the Jesse Owens and the Hershey meets that we put on for the Parks and Rec. And so we were the administrators of those events. He was a field guy. I was a track guy. He was a high jumper. And so we put that on for years. And there were a lot of athletes that came through that. And we were really proud of the fact that, you know, we were able to do that, hold it together. We would put together all the heat sheets. did all the administrative work to be able to put on that event. And those are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids. So it was a big event. And so we did both the Hershey and the Jesse Owens meets at UC Berkeley. And so that was a great facility for us to have, and it was open to all Northern California, and we put that meet on. And so we did the Junior Olympics at Merritt College. We would do it at Merritt every year. And we would bring people come in from all over the place, from Northern California and Nevada, and specifically Reno. They wouldn't come out from Las Vegas because they would go down to Southern California. So it was a lot of fun. Learned a lot. We went to clinics. That was one of the things that, as a young coach, what I was able to do and glean from, the Peyton Jordans of the world, who was coaching over at Stanford at the time. He put on routine clinics. Irv Hunt over at Cal Berkeley put on clinics. So as coaches, we went to those clinics, and they were right here in the Bay Area. So we were able to glean from those, and both Irv and Peyton Jordan, and I can't remember another coach over at Stanford, who was also an Olympian coach. We were able to take that and be able to have that conversation with them as young coaches, and really helped us apply our skills through those trainings, and then taking those techniques and then applying it through our athletes. And so, we learn everything from training to, really getting ultimate levels of participation out of the athletes to get them to hitting their marks. And, that was a great thing, and really kept us excited about coaching, along with working with the athletes and working with the coaches on all levels, from the coaches that are coaching the age group teams, to the high school coaches, to the college coaches, and then the Olympian coaches. So it was a great experience to go through and to be in that time where, we had lost out on the 1980 Olympics after coming out of the 76 Olympics. And so 1980, because of the Russian boycott, everybody was working to the 1984 Olympics. And so, there was a local track club that was an age group track club called 1980 Track Club, and a lot of athletes participated there. And again, it gave us a chance to coach everybody's athletes in the Oakland Athletic League in the summers. And then we would take some of those kids, and we would go and we would compete in the regionals for Junior Olympics, and then the regionals. And I never took a team to the nationals from here, but there were athletes who went on to the national Junior Olympic meets. And, so it was a grand time for track and field, that 84 Olympics, and then the 88 Seoul Games. I was back at the track and field trials in Indiana, and watched and witnessed that team. That was the team that FloJo was on, and Jackie Kersey, and of course Carl Lewis. We saw so many excellent events, and records were being broken, and so on and so forth. It was an exciting time, and I had a chance to go to Seoul, but it was a lot of unrest in Seoul at that time, so I decided not to go. But again, interacting with coaches there at the Olympic trials, and I've been doing that along with going to the CIF Track and Field Championships since 1972. Going and witnessing the high school championships. And then we started getting on in the 1980 Olympic trials that was up in Sacramento. Witnessed that. And I still say to this day, Carl Lewis jumped 30 feet that night, and they said he fouled. But we were all there, and we were looking and trying to figure out he didn't foul. And he nearly jumped out of the pit. Literally almost jumped out of the pit. So he's young, and he incredible talent. And so got a chance to see stuff like that. And again, because of being in those clinics and new coaches, and you get a chance to talk. You talk to the athletes, and we go up In fact, I was at the Olympic trials up in Oregon, and then for uh, the first time they've had the World Track and Field games up in Oregon, attended that, and the guys are trying to get me to go up to the U.S. Uh, championships this year in Oregon. So guys already got tickets and rooms to go. So I said, okay, man, I'm getting up there in age, man. So I'm going and bouncing around like that. But all the guys I hang out with are about my age or just a tad younger or just a tad older. So
Wow.
a good time. And one of my buddies who was an All-American at the University of Maryland, who sits on their athletic board, he has a connection on tickets. And so we normally get real good seats. In fact, when we went up to the Olympic trials last year, we were right there at the 80-meter mark, right at the finish line, 4 seats up. So we normally get good seats. So we have a good time. We have a real good time, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, if you ever decide, you don't want to use yours.
Yeah.
But I mean, just taking it back, it seems like you had more or less of a super team coming out of the OAL to take to these competitions. What is it like to coach all these greats, and what do you focus on?
Well, when we get them, of course we competed against them during the season. Some of those ran for the clubs that we also coached in the summer. So we had a relationship with all the athletes. And they recognized we're the coaches, and so they respected that. So we came together in the summer. It's all about competition, and we had so much competition in practice, so like I said, we practice, and then by the time we get to the meet, it's lights out. I mean, we didn't bring nobody who couldn't compete.
Yeah.
And so we had the best of the OAL when we were taking these athletes on the road. So it was a lot of fun.
You mentioned Noah in your conversation earlier, and I just wanted to kind of elaborate on who he was, because he was just inducted into Oakland Tech's Hall of Fame, and you were inducted into Oakland Tech's Hall of Honor. So you have Hall of Fame athletes that you've coached under your belt. He mentioned a story about that was really pivotal to him in his life, where he thought he was a sprinter, and you coached him in the right direction. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, now you got to keep in mind, Noah's when he came to me, he was a little dude, right? He wasn't a muscular guy, and he wanted to sprint, but I said, man, you got all this energy, you want to win. You're not going to win running 100, 200. You're not going to win many in the 4, but you have an opportunity to win in the 8, in the mile, in the OAL. And you can really get good at it because you like to run. He ran cross country. Yeah, I told him, I said, you got to run cross country. You got to run all summer. Then fall, you run cross country. You come to me, your base is set, and then we can work from there. So he ended up being able to run, like I said, he could run 100. He wasn't the fastest, but he could run a decent 100. He could run a decent 200 because he had 400 meters strength. And then taking that 400 speed and then putting that in the 800. Did well at the 800, but really with combining the speed, the endurance, I think he found his home in the mile, right? Between the 8 and the mile and the 2 mile. Because nobody, when he was ready to sprint in the 8 or sprint in the 1600, nobody could sprint with it. So he had built up his chops enough where that speed really helped him, when Northern Cal, when cross country, because he had all that base, he had all that experience over the 4-year period. And so he literally can run from the 100 to the 2 mile.
Got it.
Which gave him a lot of flexibility. So, And you have very few athletes who want to have that kind of pain, be able to run. But he had it, and he used it, and it brought him great attention and a lot of awards. All the way to the Hall of Fame.
All the way to Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's really amazing, and one of the things that I picked up on is your ability to know your players well enough to make those types of pivotal decisions. I mean, you coached him into the Hall of Fame, and really helped determine that process. I mean, what gives you the insight to look at a player, and what strategies do you use to say, hey, this person should go here, this person should go there, from being able to coach a super team and then taking an individual and highlighting their best attributes so that you coach them into success. Where did that come from?
The fun part of that, and I say fun because recognizing talent, where to place talent, and attitudes, because it really boils down to your attitude. I was considered myself a sprinter in high school. Thought I was fast enough to run 100, 200. I ended up being a quarter mile and a half mile. And so my coach saw that ability in me. And from that point on, I says, okay, you really have to study the athlete. And, when you've been around enough athletes, you've seen enough athletes, and the gait, what they need mentally to do some of these events, it's pretty easy to kind of put people in the right places. You're not always 100%, because some athletes want to fight you for what they think they can run. I had a kid that thought he was a 100, 200 guy, and after he got seen enough butts, that he finally decided, said, okay, well, I probably need to run the quarter. I said, yeah, the quarter is a better race for you. And he found some success in it, but he didn't like that pain, because you can't run the quarter mile and not feel the pain. You can talk to the Olympians to a cat running in high school. And I'm looking at this young man from Bullets in Maryland, Quincy Wilson, who is a 17-year-old Olympian. He's got a gold medal around his neck at 16, running last year's Olympics on the relay team. And now he's out here competing as a high schooler, as a junior in high school, and running against pros and, doing well. He had a little upset just recently in the indoor U.S. championships, where he came in fifth in the 400, which was a surprise. But again, he's out here competing, and he wasn't discouraged. He's out there competing. He knows he's building up his chops. And, so those kind of things, I watch those type of athletes. And when you look at him, he's got long arms, short torso, long legs, right? But he's not that tall, right? And I watch him run, and he doesn't have the best form as a quarter miler. He puts his head back and he's flailing his arms, but they're all going forward, right? And so I look at that and I said, well, would I change anything within him as an athlete in terms of form? And, you want everybody to have that picture perfect form, right?
Right.
But you also have to allow an athlete to run in their natural ability. There's some tweaks you can do in that natural ability that can help. But really, for him, and I look at him, I said, man, if he dropped the chin down, if he did this or he did that, me looking at it from a coach's perspective, but he's still getting the results.
Right.
And so do you really want to mess with his attitude and the results he's getting from the way he naturally runs, but tweak just a little bit of what can help refine some of those things? But he's already ran a low 44 at 16 years old in a quarter mile. Wow. I mean, so you don't want to mess too much with that, right? So, but that high school back there in Maryland, uh, man, those kids around the Baltimore area, they're flying. The young lady that won the 100 hurdles, Messiah, I can't remember her last name, but she comes out of that same high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we sometimes go back to the Penn Relays, and that's when I first saw him there at the Penn Relays. And of course, we've seen a lot of athletes come through there. A buddy of mine who is All-American out of University of Maryland, he grew up back there in Philly. So his family, his mother still lives back there. So we go back there for the Penn Relays, which is a much different relay than you'll see out of here in California or pretty much anywhere else. It's got such a steep tradition. And
Mm-hmm.
so they get athletes from 5 years old to 101 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the Jamaicans, and so they come in, they're already in mid-season form, where most of our athletes in the U.S. are just coming into the season. And so their high school athletes are running tremendous times. And, we've had teams that come out from California, from Long Beach Poly, from different places in L.A. who have come back there and competed. But we haven't had any California teams in the last, I want to say, almost 10 years now. They haven't come out to the Penn Relays. But yeah, it's an exciting thing. And so this year we haven't gone to the Penn Relays is about the same time as the Iowa meet. And so this year, the group of us are talking about going to the meet in Iowa, which is more of a pro meet. But it's nothing like Penn Relays. Like I say, you get the 5-year-olds to the 101-year-olds. Yeah. And everybody gets the recognition, so it's a great time. So,
well, at this point, what is your favorite meet to attend?
I would say any meet that kids are running. I mean, I'm a lover of track and field. Yeah. And so if kids are out there competing, I love it. But like I said, every year the California Interscholastic Federation Championship meet normally has, out of the top 8 athletes in California, you normally have 8 All-Americans in each event.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a strong meet, and all those athletes are competing at a high level, and they compete well against the other states, especially the states of Texas and Florida, that typically bring the heat too. But the Californians normally do very, very, very well on a national level. So,
yeah. Miss Jones, yep.
Yeah. So, Ronnie, so there's a big track event that's being put on by 5 North. That's coming up in Tracy High School, March 15th. Will you be at that event?
March 15th. That's March 15th. That's Saturday. So my birthday is the 17th. So I would love to go see that meet on the 15th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Send me the information.
Oh, we definitely will get that out to you. Yeah. It's the 5 North Invitational, and again, it's going to be at Tracy High School. But we'll definitely make sure that we include that information. Get it out to you real quick.
All right. Well, I'll make sure all these old heads get a chance to go see it as well. So,
yes, indeed.
Getting all pumped up behind the U.S. championships, but they can come see the high school meet.
Okay. Well, this will definitely be a precursor to that meet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll also be out there recording, so we'll make sure to save you a seat and can talk to some great talent and get some cool interviews there as well.
Great.
And it'll also be awesome to have your insight.
Yes, it'd be fun. A lot of fun.
Yes.
Early season relay meet. I love it.
Yeah. Miss Audrey, do you have any other questions?
No, just that there's going to be over 1,000 kids out there already. So they'll be looking forward to it as well, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Getting all geared up for it. It's fun. So, early start.
Yeah. I mean, bringing it back to the OAL, what's next for the OAL, in your opinion?
as I was sharing with you, Ryan, I mean, I coached in the late 70s and mid 80s. So I had to pivot into my other profession, which is real estate development.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been doing that both for municipality, for the city of Berkeley, and then on my own for the last 22 years. And so 23 years with the city and 22 on my own. And so that's been keeping me pretty busy in terms of what I do every day. But I try to stay in tune, with Peacock, and I watch as much track and field I can, witnessing that, and then try to go to as many meets as I possibly can. We normally go to the different sectional meets, the North Coast section meet, but the OAL, there was a time when we thought that we needed to get absorbed into the North Coast section.
Mm-hmm.
When they made the shift to incorporate Oakland and San Francisco, which had for years had been singular sections that would go to the state meet, but we can only take one winner. And some years we had the three top 100, 200, 400 meter runners, but we only take one to the state meet. And so that we always felt was unfair, but we weren't in North Coast, and which North Coast had a bigger meet, bigger platform. And so what the OEL decided to do is combine San Francisco, who had the same challenge as the Oakland, at least by combining the OEL and the San Francisco league, the city league, that we were able to at least get two athletes. So if an OEL athlete took first and second, then we can take the two athletes.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then they added in the Northern California meet. Instead of you going winning your section and going directly to the state meet, then they added in the Northern California meet. And so that was a bummer for Noah, because he had to go through the Northern California meet. And then, okay, I got a transaction going on too. I'm also a real estate broker too. So, so I got a transaction on a commercial deal going on right now. So it just popped up. So I got to pay attention to that, get that closed. So, but anyway, so when they added in the Northern California section, that was just one other section. So that added all the, the North Coast. Did they have Central? I'm trying to remember who else. I think they had the far north, and then North Coast. It was something else that was in there too. A couple of conferences. So that added even more competition, but of course, less people also went to the state meet. So it made it very difficult to get into that state meet from Northern California. So I don't know if they have folded that back. I know there's talks about just having the sections again separated. I don't know if they've actually gone back to that. I haven't followed that over the years. So, but during the time I was coaching, we had that evolution, and we did well in North Coast. We never did well in state, but Berkeley High had a run from 79 through 81. Those were some of the greatest teams in California track and field history. So it was an enjoyment to watch them at the state meet. It was a pain when we had to compete against them here in Northern California, because they just had everybody, And of course, Berkeley High is a 3,000 student population. So they were able to draw from a broader band of students. And then, a lot of kids wanted to go to Berkeley High, so they got some of the top of the top. They had kids coming all the way from Newark and Union City to come to Berkeley High, and of course, some of the Richmond kids. And so they had an all-star team, and kids from Oakland. I remember Pete Richardson and Kenny Robinson. Kenny Robinson was Oh boy. See, I'm getting old. His brother competed for McClymonds and then ran for Cal and was 800-meter champion, 6 or 8 time 800 national champion, 2-time, 3-time Olympian, 76. Yeah, James Robinson. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, James Robinson. And so James, his coach was one of my football coaches. I had spent a year and a half at Laney playing football before I transferred. And so we talked a lot. Proverb Jacobs, who's a great man, who also went to Oakland Tech. So another great athlete, ended up playing for the New York Jets and was a shot putter at Cal Berkeley. And so he taught me a lot, taught James a lot, and so again, different mentors growing up. My dad was a track athlete. Competed for Tuskegee. He was an early entry into college. He was about 16 years old, and he got a chance to run against Jesse Owens back in the day.
Wow.
So I didn't even know that until after he passed away. He was a black college All-American in track and field and football. So, All-American track and field, he played football. So I didn't know that until after he passed away, and all he kept all this stuff a secret. But the thing about my dad, who was a carpenter and master builder, he would come home with his coveralls on, hammer still in his pocket, his boots on, and he would line all his kids up and race us, right? And so he'll let us start, and then all of a sudden here he comes, and when he goes by, it was a whoosh, And he used to make me so mad I stopped racing. I said, Dad, I can't beat you, So it was so funny, and those times, and now I know he was the thing, going to school and college, and so, but he coached me in baseball and wouldn't miss a football game I played in high school. Me and my younger brother, so it's fond memories, and as well as he taught me the trade. I mean, I got into Carpenters Union at 16 years old and learned how to build and built my own homes and renovated homes, and got me into a job as an inspector, and eventually became manager of the section that we're doing house and rehab, and learned all the ins and outs of municipal government. And to this day, I still use all those skills in what I do today. So, that's part of my business as well. So,
there's something that you made me feel, which I think is something that we are losing, is our superheroes being our fathers. And I think that, at least from what I'm picking on, I know it's a deviation from the question said, but your story made me think about my dad. And it drove me to be competitive. It drove me to succeed. And listening to you, it gave you all the tools that you needed. I mean, you built your own house. And it just kind of glazed plastic like it was at 16 years old. Is that right?
My dad, no, he built his first home. He was at 14 in Tuskegee, and I tore that house down in 1986. Okay. And I'll tell you a quick story about that. I have gone before city councils in Berkeley and spoken before city councils at Berkeley for my job, but down there in Tuskegee, the whole city council and the mayor are all black.
Yeah,
all the staff. All black. So now I'm intimidated, because it's a reverse type of situation. Now I need to be excellent because all these folks are excellent, right? Yep. And I finally calmed my nerves and had to present, and because I had to tear the property down, and so I had to get the permission from the city council to do that, and was able to do that. And his sister, my dad's sister, who died at 98. Deviate a little bit. her and George Washington Carver were good friends. In fact, her only son is named after George Washington Carver. So,
Wow.
we got some steep history down there in Tuskegee because all my dad's siblings went to Tuskegee. So they try to get me to go, but I'm a California boy. I wasn't going.
Yes, sir. Bay Area.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Nice.
So
Well,
I have I'm sorry, did I
go ahead with yours. I'll ask it afterwards.
okay.
Excuse my sniffles. I got these allergies going. So do I need to turn my light on?
No, I think you're good.
I
Okay.
can see you.
Okay.
My question is, if you could go back
Mhm.
to a piece of advice to a younger Ronnie Turner, just starting his coaching journey, what would it be?
I shared this with my wife the other day, and one of the things, I love athletics. I love the whole concept of coaching. I miss it, something terrible. And every now and then I get a chance to coach an athlete one-on-one, somebody who knows me, say, well, can you help my son? And I'm very eager to do that. And so that always brings joy back. But I would say that if I had to make a choice between doing what I'm doing now and coaching, I think the younger Ronnie would have chosen the coaching career to extend it and maybe have taken it to the college level because I was kind of on that track. But I said, okay, I had a family. I needed to take care of a family. They didn't pay what I was getting paid as an administrator. So I couldn't continue to do both. And so I said, okay, I got to make this choice. And that was just kind of like the fork in the road, which way you're going to go. So what it's made me is a super fan, right? I'm a diehard track and field fan. So go anywhere to watch a meet. And thank you for the invite. I'll be in Tracy to see that meet. So that's for sure.
Nice. We're definitely looking forward to it. And lastly, excuse me, for me, what advice would you give to up and coming coaches and athletes to be able to sustain a successful career?
Right. It's you have to, first and foremost, as a coach, and I shared this with Ryan before, you have to care for them to see that you care, because what you're asking them to do is do something that is difficult. It takes discipline. It takes motivation, self-motivation, but also motivation that you have to give to the athlete to be able to get them to perform at their potential. And you can see the potential in an athlete, but they may not feel the potential in themselves. And so that's your job to get them to compete at their level of potential for where they are in their high school career, junior high school, or college careers. As an athlete, again, it's listening to the coaches, and all of us have this rebellious spirit, right? That we don't want to listen, right? We think we know, we think we're the cat's meow, especially you're winning, and you get an overinflated ego. And the greatest thing about athletics is that you always can get your comeuppance if you're not ready, right? And so I used to tell the guys all the time, you're not ready. You don't go out there and get your butt whooped. Oh, coach, why are you telling me that? Because you're not ready. You didn't put the work in, right? I can tell you right now, you can come back here crying, but don't come back here crying. Put the work in when the week starts next week, because we got the next meet coming up. We got dual meets. We got relay meets. Get your butt ready. So for me, it's just being honest, always giving a dose of reality, but also being an encourager at the same time. not being afraid to give an honest assessment of the athlete, and an honest assessment of yourself in terms of, as a coach, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Do you really care for the athlete? Are you willing to pay for those shoes that kid can't get, or that lunch that they need to eat, knowing that they're not eating at home? Being willing to come out of your pocket to sacrifice for the kid. Those kind of things show that you care, and being willing to do that, share your resources. So it's special in the high school level. Coaching in the OAL, so many broken homes, and being able to give, and give from the spirit and from the heart to the kids. And I hope that, with the guys I coached, they still call me coach when they see me, and that's the best feeling in the world.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for spending time with us, Mr. Turner, and giving us all this insight and wisdom, and coming back here a second time to share all of this.
And I'm sorry about not being able to remember all the names. It's just been a long time.
It's quite all right.
Yeah.
Doing this, but hopefully whoever hears this can remember who they are, and I'm telling their story. So
yes.
Well, we'll have another chance at the track meet, correct?
Yeah.
To chat, and we can clear some things up when if need be.
Yeah, and do some analysis of some athletes, kind of look and see who got what potential. That's always the fun part about watching the high school meet.
Yeah.
That's what I really enjoy, just looking at who has what resources that they have, and are they really applying themselves, or are they willing to take the next step?
Yes.
And those conversations are always fun. So I look forward to it.
Awesome.
Great. Well, before you head out, for all those listeners out there, the 5 North Invitational is happening March 15th at Tracy High School, and it's going to be sponsored by Top Speed Athletics. So to learn more information, you can definitely go to www.athletic.net.
All right.
Ryan?
All right.
Yep. Well, thank you again.
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
thank you. The task and pulling stuff out of me. I had to pull from the deep parts of the gray matter between my ears to remember some of these stories. It's always fun.
Yeah.
Well, enjoyment. This is very enjoyable. So
thank you.
Appreciate it. Great having
you. All right. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Before we let you go, we just want to give you a quick snippet and a quick update on who we have coming next. We really want you guys to stay tuned, because we're going to continue to bring you all these interviews and wealth of knowledge. The next person that we're looking forward to is none other than Ruthie Bolton. We're really excited about that interview. We're going to have lots of questions. She's going to feed into us in a way that I don't think you guys are ready for. So get prepared, buckle up, grab some popcorn, and subscribe to Athletic Conceptual Training on YouTube so you can get notified every time we drop these wonderful interviews like Mr. Turner here.
Yes, indeed.
All right, guys.
All right.
She was a good hoopster, boy, I tell you.
It was, when as I was doing research, it was Michael Jordan and Ruthie Bolton at that time. And Ruthie Bolton was, being a kid from Oakland, she was right there in Sacramento. So it was just another legend.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Total hoopster.
Yeah.
No question. All
right. Well, we thank you guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.